If you started using Monday.com, join me for this basic tutorial video that shows exactly how to use it for project management. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a fully functional project management system that can handle multiple projects, track tasks, automate your workflow, and give you complete visibility into everything that's happening in your business. We're going to build this together, and I'll show you every single click along the way. So the first thing we need to do is head over to Monday.com. Now you can click the link in the description below. That'll give you an extended 14-day free trial of their Pro plan, which is perfect for testing out all the features we're going to cover. Once you're on the homepage, you'll see a big Get Started button. Go ahead and click that. You can sign up with Google or email. I'll choose Google because it's more convenient, so click on Google and choose my Google account. Now Monday.com is going to ask you a few questions about your business. Just answer these honestly because it helps them customize your experience. I'm going to select work management since that's what we're focusing on today. Then they'll ask about your team size. I'll choose 2 to 5 people for this example. You can choose whatever fits your situation. And after a couple more questions, we are in. It'll ask you to invite your team members, but I'll skip that for now. Then I need to add a name for my first workspace. Don't worry, I'll explain what workspaces are later in the video. For now, let's name it Sample Workspace, for example. Then continue with the setup wizard. Perfect. Now we're inside Monday.com, and as you can see, they've created a sample workspace for us. But before we start building, let me explain how Monday.com is organized. And here's something that confuses a lot of people when they first start using Monday.com. The difference between workspaces and boards. Think of it this way. Your workspace is like a big folder for your entire department or company. Inside that workspace, you have boards, and each board is like a specific project or area of work. So right now, we're in our main workspace. You can see it says main workspace up here at the top left. If you had a larger organization, you might have separate workspaces for different departments, like one for marketing, one for development, one for sales. But for most small to medium teams, you'll probably just use one main workspace and organize everything with different boards inside it. Let me give you a quick tour of what we're looking at here. On the left side, we have our navigation menu. You can see Home at the top. This is your dashboard where you get an overview of everything. Below that, you'll see My Work. This shows all the tasks assigned specifically to you across all your boards. And down here, you can see any boards that have been created. Right now, we have the sample board, but we're going to delete that and create our own from scratch. The main area here in the center is where you'll spend most of your time. This is where your boards, dashboards, and documents will appear. Alright, so let's create our first project board. I'm going to delete this sample board first by clicking on these 3 dots next to it and selecting Delete Board. There we go. Now, to create a new board, we'll click on this plus icon at the top and select New Board. I'm going to name this board Product Launch Project because we're going to manage the launch of a new product. Now, here's an important decision. The privacy settings for your board. You have 3 options here. Main means everyone in your workspace can see this board. This is what I usually recommend for most projects because transparency is key to good project management. Private means only specific people you invite can see the board. This might be useful for sensitive projects or HR related boards. Shareable means you can share this board with people outside your organization, like clients or external contractors. This is really handy when you're working with external partners. For our product launch project, I'm going to choose main because I want the whole team to have visibility into this project. Down here, Monday.com is asking what we want to call the individual items in our board. By default, it says items, but you can customize this. Since we're managing a project, I could change this to tasks or deliverables. I'm going to stick with items for now because it's flexible. Some things in our project might be tasks, others might be milestones or deliverables. Perfect. Let's click Create Board. And there we go, we have our first project board. Now let me explain how Monday.com organizes information. As you can see, we have these colored sections called groups. Think of groups as the main phases or categories of your project. Right now, we have 2 default groups, but I want to rename these to match our product launch project. I'll click on the first group title and change it to Planning Phase. For the second group, I'll call it Development Phase. Now, I want to add a third group for our launch activities. I'll click Add New Group at the bottom and call this one Launch Phase. You can also change the colors of these groups to make them more visually distinct. I'll click on the color next to planning phase and choose blue. For development phase, I'll choose orange, and for launch phase, I'll choose green. Within each group, we have items. These are your individual tasks, deliverables, or milestones. Let me add some realistic items to our project. In the planning phase, I'll add market research, competitor analysis, and define target audience. I'll just click in the item field and type each one. For the development phase, I'll add product design, prototype development, and testing and QA. And for the launch phase, I'll add marketing campaign, website updates, and launch event. Now here's a really powerful feature. Sub-items. Let's say marketing campaign is a big task that needs to be broken down further. I'll click on the arrow next to marketing campaign to expand it and click add sub-item. I can add things like create social media content, design email campaign, and prepare press release. This is perfect for complex tasks that have multiple components. You can see how this creates a nice hierarchy. Your main item is the big deliverable, and the sub-items are the specific task needed to complete it. Now let's talk about columns. Monday.com comes with 3 essential columns by default: person, status, and date. These are the foundation of good project management. The person column is where you assign tasks to team members. Let me click on the person column for market research, and you can see I can assign this to different team members. Since we haven't invited anyone yet, I'll just assign it to myself for now. The status column is crucial for tracking progress. Click on the status for market research, and you can see we have options like working on it, stuck, and done. You can also customize these labels. Let me click on edit labels and add another label that says in review. The date column is for deadlines. I'll click on the date column for market research and set a deadline for next Friday. But here's where Monday.com really shines. You can add custom columns for whatever data you need to track. Let me click the plus icon to add a new column. I'll add a priority column first. I'll select status as the column type and rename it to priority. Then I'll customize the labels to high, medium, and low with different colors: red for high, yellow for medium, and green for low. Next, I'll add a budget column by selecting numbers as the column type. This way we can track the budget for each task or deliverable. I'll also add a files column so team members can attach relevant documents, images, or other files to each task. Monday.com has tons of different column types, and choosing the right one makes a huge difference. Here are the ones I use most often: period, text columns for notes or descriptions, drop-down columns when you have a fixed set of options, timeline columns for tasks that span multiple days, formula columns for calculations. Like if you want to automatically calculate project costs, the key is to think about what information you need to track for your specific project and choose columns accordingly. Now let's get your team involved. Click on Invite Members in the top right corner. Here you can add email addresses of your team members. I'll add a few example email addresses. Once you send these invitations, your team members will get an email and can create their accounts. They'll automatically have access to any boards where their privacy is set to main. Now that we have team members, let's assign some tasks. I'll click on the person column for competitor analysis and assign it to Sarah. For product design, I'll assign it to Mike. Of course, given they accepted the invitation and have access to the board, you can assign multiple people to the same task if needed. Just click on the person column and select multiple team members. Here's one of my favorite features for team collaboration, the update section. If I click on any item, let's say market research, it opens up this detailed view. Down here in the update section, I can add comments, ask questions, or provide status updates. Let me type, "Hey team, I've started the market research. Found some interesting competitor data that I'll share in tomorrow's meeting." I can also mention specific team members by typing at and their name. This sends them a notification so they know to check this update. You can also attach files here, which is perfect for sharing research documents, design mockups, or any other project related files. Right now, we're looking at the main table view, which is perfect for detailed project management. You can see all your tasks, who they're assigned to, their status, and deadlines all in one place. But Monday.com offers several other views that can be really helpful depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Let me click Add View and select Kanban. This creates a visual board where tasks are organized by their status. As you can see, tasks in working on its status appear in one column, done tasks in another column, and so on. This is perfect for teams that like visual workflow management. You can drag tasks from one column to another to update their status. Let me drag market research from working on it to done. You'll see it automatically updates the status in our main table view too. Let me add another view, the calendar view, click add view and select calendar. This shows all your tasks on a calendar based on their due dates. This is incredibly helpful for understanding your project timeline and spotting potential bottlenecks. I can drag tasks to different dates right here on the calendar to reschedule them. Let me move define target audience to the following week to spread out the workload. Now let's talk about one of Monday.com's most powerful features, automations. These can save you hours of manual work every week. Click on Automate at the top of your board. Monday.com has tons of pre-made automation templates. Let me show you a few that are perfect for project management. Here's one I use all the time. When status changes to something, notify someone. Let me click Use Template. I'll set it up so that when any task is marked as done, it notifies me as the project manager. Here's another useful one. When date arrives, notify someone. This creates automatic deadline reminders. I'll set this up to notify the assigned person one day before their deadline. You can also create custom automations. Let me click Create from Scratch. I want to create one that automatically moves completed tasks to an archive group. I'll set the trigger as when status changes to done and the action as move item to group and select a group called completed tasks. I'll need to create this group first. One thing to be careful about with automations is notification overload. You can customize your notification settings by clicking on your profile picture, go to Profile and then Notifications. I usually recommend setting notifications to only when mentioned or assigned to avoid getting overwhelmed with updates. Here's a really cool feature that not many people know about. You can create forms to collect task requests from your team or even external stakeholders. Let me add another view and select Form. Monday.com automatically creates a form based on the columns in your board. This form can be shared with anyone, and when they submit it, it automatically creates a new item in your board. This is perfect for things like bug reports, feature requests, or any kind of intake process for your project. Now let's create a dashboard to get a high-level view of our project. Click the plus icon in the left menu and select Dashboard. I'll call this Product Launch Dashboard. Here I can add widgets that pull data from our project board. Let me add a chart widget that shows the status of all our tasks. I can also add a timeline widget to visualize our project schedule. This dashboard is perfect for sharing with stakeholders or executives who want a quick overview without diving into the detailed task list. Monday.com integrates with tons of other tools your team might be using. Click on Integrate and you can see options for Slack, Google Drive, Zoom, and many others. For example, I can set up a Slack integration so that when tasks are completed, it automatically posts an update to our project Slack channel. This keeps everyone in the loop without having to constantly check Monday.com. As your team grows and you start managing multiple projects, organization becomes crucial. I recommend creating a clear naming convention for your boards. For example, 2024, product launch, or Q1, marketing campaign. You can also use folders to group related boards together. Just drag one board onto another to create a folder. One feature I absolutely love is My Work. Click on it in the left sidebar and you'll see all tasks assigned to you across all boards, organized by due date. This is your personal command center. You can see what's due today, what's coming up this week, and what doesn't have a deadline yet. I check this every morning to plan my day. Alright, so let's quickly recap what we've built together today. We created a complete project management system in Monday.com with multiple project phases, assigned team members, set up different views for different needs, and even added some automation to save time. Now this is just the beginning. Monday.com has so many more advanced features we didn't have time to cover today. Things like advanced formulas, custom workflows, time tracking, and integration with project management methodologies like Agile or Scrum. If you want me to create more advanced Monday.com tutorials, let me know in the comments below. I'm thinking about doing a deep dive into automations or maybe a tutorial specifically for marketing teams or development teams. If this tutorial helped you get started with Monday.com, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future tutorials. I'm constantly testing new project management tools and productivity apps, so there's always something new coming.